Most people talk about aging like it's a number, but few talk about what happens when the house gets quiet, when the conversations fade, the door closes, and the days start to stretch out. Living alone after 60 can feel like freedom one moment and uncertainty the next. In 2025, more than 16 million Americans over 65 live by themselves, the highest number in US history. But here's what's shifting. More seniors are no longer seeing solitude as something to survive, but as something to shape. Across the country, from small towns to city apartments, older adults are reinventing what living alone really means. They're creating daily systems, redesigning their homes, and rebuilding their routines, not because they have to, but because they've learned that independence isn't about doing everything alone. It's about learning how to make life flow easily, safely, and meaningfully, even when it's quiet. This video explores how one woman transformed her life after loss and uncovered simple, powerful habits that turned her solitude into strength. Her approach isn't about filling the silence, it's about mastering it. By the end, you'll see how living alone can become your most empowered chapter yet. If you live alone or love someone who does, tap like. This story might change how you see independence. Evelyn Moore is 76 years old and lives in Asheville, North Carolina. She spent over 3 decades teaching geography, guiding students through maps, landscapes, and lessons about the wider world. These days, her world is smaller, but just as meaningful. She's practical, self-reliant, and quietly adventurous. She still writes handwritten letters every Sunday, keeps a shelf of travel journals from her teaching days, and gives every plant in her sunroom a name. When Evelyn's husband passed away 4 years ago, she faced a decision that many older adults quietly encounter. Would she let life shrink, or would she reimagine it? She chose the second path. Instead of seeing solitude as an ending, she treated it as an open map, one she could redraw with purpose, rhythm, and independence. She began testing new habits, redesigning her routines, and learning from other seniors who were doing the same. The result was a simple but powerful transformation, not about chasing youth, but about building a life that finally fit who she had become. Evelyn's story is more than personal. It's a modern blueprint for seniors everywhere who are asking the same question she did. How do I make my days feel full again? And her answers, the small systems, new perspectives, and unexpected lessons, will redefine what living alone can truly mean. Secret number 1. Redefine the word alone. For Evelyn, the first and most powerful shift began with language itself. She realized that the word alone often carried a quiet heaviness, a suggestion of absence. But one afternoon, while journaling, she wrote the word differently, all one. That single hyphen changed everything. It stopped meaning isolation and started meaning wholeness. Evelyn decided that if she was going to live by herself, she would learn to be complete within herself. She began her mornings with what she called her connection habit, one small act that reminded her she still had purpose and presence in the world. Some days it was writing in her journal about 3 things she was grateful for. Other mornings, she would sit by the window, sip tea, and read a single page from a book that stretched her thinking. On Sundays, she recorded short voice messages to her grandchildren, not to talk about the past, but to ask about their week and share something new she had learned. These tiny actions built a foundation of emotional stability. According to current research from the National Institute on Aging, older adults who maintain consistent morning rituals, even simple ones, experience lower levels of anxiety and stronger cognitive engagement. It's not the size of the activity that matters, but the regular rhythm of self-connection. Evelyn often said, "I stopped waiting for people to check on me. I started checking in with myself." That mindset shift turned solitude from something she had to endure into something she could design. Her mornings became moments of grounding, and her days started to flow with quiet confidence instead of emptiness. Freedom, she discovered, doesn't begin when others come around. It begins when you stop feeling the need for constant noise and instead build a connection that starts within. You're not disconnected, you're self-connected. What's one thing you do each morning just for yourself? Share below. Secret number 2. Design a home that heals. When Evelyn first started living alone, her house looked exactly the same as it had when her husband was alive. The furniture still faced the same direction, His favorite chair remained untouched, and even the wall calendar was frozen on the year he passed. Every corner whispered memories, comforting, yes, but also heavy. It took her months to realize something important. She wasn't just living in her home's history, she was stuck in it. So, she made a bold decision, not to move, but to redesign. Evelyn started small. She shifted the couch to face the sunlight instead of the TV. She replaced the old dark curtains with light, sage green ones that made mornings feel gentle. She cleared out the unused corner of her living room and created what she called her energy corner, where she placed a chair, a plant, and a small bookshelf of her favorite travel memoirs. Soon, her house stopped feeling like a museum of her past and started feeling like a reflection of who she was becoming. Experts in environmental psychology now emphasize what Evelyn discovered firsthand. Your surroundings deeply affect your emotional and physical well-being, especially in later life. Studies show that seniors who refresh their living environments with light, color, and personal touches experience lower stress levels, improved mood, and better sleep quality. Even a simple act like moving a chair closer to a window can influence your body's natural rhythm by increasing exposure to daylight. Evelyn often said, "When I changed my space, my spirit followed." She didn't need expensive renovations or new furniture, just intention. She donated items that no longer served her story and surrounded herself with things that inspired calm, movement, and joy. Within weeks, her home began to give her energy instead of taking it. The space itself became part of her healing, a silent companion that supported, rather than reminded. Her experience carries a lesson many overlook. Your home is not just where you live, it's a mirror of how you live. And when you make that space peaceful, it starts to heal you in return. Don't live in your home's past, redesign it for your present. What's one small change you could make in your home today to make it feel lighter or more peaceful? Let's hear it in the comments. Secret number 3. Structure is freedom. When Evelyn first retired, she thought freedom meant doing whatever she wanted, whenever she wanted. But within a few months, her days started blending into one another. Breakfast would drift into lunch, and entire afternoons disappeared without memory. It wasn't loneliness that bothered her most, it was the drift. Each day felt like a page without lines. One morning, she made herself a promise: if I want to feel alive, I need to live with rhythm. So, Evelyn began building what she called her freedom framework. It wasn't a strict schedule, but a flow. She had breakfast at 8 o'clock while listening to her favorite classical station, took a short walk around her garden before checking the mail, and made her daily connection calls, 5 minutes to chat with an old colleague, her niece, or a neighbor. Evenings became her hobby hours, where she painted small watercolor landscapes or tended to her herbs. Over time, this rhythm transformed her mental state. Instead of waking up to uncertainty, she woke up to intention. Her days started feeling lighter, not busier. She realized that structure wasn't the opposite of freedom, it was the foundation of it. Researchers now call this concept micro-routine management. Small, repeating habits that stabilize mood and boost mental sharpness, especially in adults over 60. According to recent findings from the National Institute on Aging, seniors who maintain gentle daily rhythms show lower rates of depression and cognitive decline. The predictability. Secret number 4. Stay curious, stay alive. Evelyn realized that one of the quiet dangers of living alone wasn't loneliness, it was mental stillness. The days were comfortable, yes, but sometimes too predictable. She noticed that when she stopped trying new things, her conversations got shorter, her thoughts slower, and her spark dimmer. So she made herself a promise: every week, she would learn something that made her slightly uncomfortable. She began with an online watercolor class. At first, she struggled with the digital setup, the tiny buttons, the screen freezing, but she pushed through. Then she tried short digital courses through senior-friendly learning platforms like Get Set Up and AARP Virtual Community Center. She met other seniors from across the country, people who were learning photography, poetry, and even basic coding. These experiences reawakened something powerful. Learning wasn't just about the skill, it was about connection, discovery, and identity. Evelyn realized that curiosity is a form of self-care. It keeps the mind adaptable, the emotions balanced, and the spirit young. In 2025, experts emphasize that lifelong learning is one of the most effective ways for older adults to maintain cognitive health. Research from the Harvard Aging Brain Study reveals that seniors who regularly engage in new mental activities, even as short as 5 to 10 minutes per day, show stronger memory retention, improved focus, and greater life satisfaction. It's not about mastering a subject, it's about giving the brain a reason to stay active and curious. Evelyn didn't stop at art. She explored online museum tours, joined a trivia group for seniors, and even started a book exchange with her neighbors. Every new topic became a small spark that kept her days exciting. She said, "Learning reminds me that I'm still becoming, not just existing." It turns out curiosity is one of the most underrated health habits of all. It builds new brain pathways, reduces isolation, and boosts optimism. 3 things that matter more than ever in later life. Your brain doesn't retire, only your curiosity can. What's one new thing you've always wanted to learn? Write it down, your next chapter might start there. Secret number 5. Build a connection routine. Evelyn discovered that the difference between a quiet day and a fulfilling day came down to one thing: connection. Not endless conversations or crowded events, but small, meaningful moments of contact. So she built what she called her 3-touch rule. Each day, she made it a point to connect with 3 different people: one friend, one neighbor, and one new person. Her friend might get a quick call just to share a laugh. Her neighbor might receive a plate of extra muffins she baked that morning. And her new person often came through volunteering online, joining a book group, or chatting in a virtual gardening club for retirees. The idea wasn't about being social for the sake of it. It was about creating a rhythm of belonging. Evelyn noticed that when she reached out regularly, her mood lifted, her sleep improved, and her days felt structured around care and purpose. She wasn't waiting for connection. She was creating it. In 2025, studies from the National Institute on Aging show that seniors with regular, low-pressure social interactions have up to 50% lower risk of depression and 30% slower cognitive decline. Experts describe this as microsocial nourishment, the emotional equivalent of daily vitamins. It doesn't require long phone calls or large family gatherings. It's the consistent act of showing up for yourself and others. Evelyn also learned to mix technology with tradition. She used video calls and voice messages for long-distance family, but she still preferred handwritten notes for birthdays and postcards just because. These simple gestures often led to unexpected calls or visits, reminders that connection multiplies when you give it away freely. Her 3-touch rule became her social safety net. Even on quiet days, she felt anchored by her network. And for seniors living alone, this isn't just emotionally rewarding, it's protective. Loneliness has been called the new silent health risk, increasing mortality as much as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, according to recent CDC reports. But intentional connection is the antidote. Evelyn's rule is simple, doable, and powerful. You don't need constant company. You just need a steady flow of care, in and out. You don't need constant company, you need consistent connection. If you were to follow the 3-touch rule, who would be your 3 daily connections? Share your list below, it might inspire someone else. Secret number 6. Embrace help as power. For years, Evelyn believed that asking for help meant surrendering her independence, a sign that she was slipping. But over time, she learned something different. The people who stay independent longest are the ones who know how to design support around them, not avoid it. She began with small steps. Once a week, she used a local app to schedule grocery delivery. Then she hired a neighborhood teen to help with outdoor chores she once did easily: trimming branches, lifting boxes, cleaning gutters. It wasn't weakness, it was wisdom. The time she saved and the peace of mind she gained gave her more freedom to do what truly mattered, like painting, walking with her friends, or video calling her grandchildren. This is what experts in 2025 call interdependent living, the growing movement where seniors balance independence with collaboration. It's not about moving into assisted living or giving up control. It's about using technology, community, and smart planning to maintain freedom longer and safer. Evelyn uses senior-friendly platforms like Puppa and Care.com to find trusted helpers for short tasks. She schedules medication reminders through her tablet. She even joined a neighborhood time bank, where locals trade services. She helps with proofreading and in return, someone helps with errands. The beauty of this system. It keeps her active and engaged while ensuring she's never stuck trying to do everything alone. And she's not alone in this shift. Across the US, older adults are redefining independence, not as doing everything yourself, but as staying in charge of how you get things done. A 2025 AARP report notes that over 60% of seniors are now using some form of tech-assisted or community-based support. These small networks are quietly transforming what aging alone looks like. Evelyn says, "Every time I ask for help, I'm really choosing freedom, the freedom to keep living on my terms." That mindset keeps her grounded, capable, and safe. She's no longer drained by daily chores or anxious about small emergencies. Instead, she's built a personal ecosystem that works for her, not against her. Independence isn't about isolation. It's about intention. Seniors who embrace interdependence create systems that protect their strength, energy, and confidence for years to come. The strongest seniors don't resist help, they design it. When was the last time accepting help actually made your life easier? Share your story, it might inspire someone else to do the same. Secret number 7. Keep a future file. Evelyn calls it her future file, a simple binder that quietly changed her life. Inside, she keeps everything she or her loved ones might ever need. Medical information, important contacts, passwords, insurance documents, home maintenance records, and even her favorite recipes. What started as a small organizational project turned into one of the smartest, most freeing things she's ever done. At 76, Evelyn says it's not about preparing for an ending, it's about creating ease. "I don't plan for endings," she says. "I plan for peace of mind." That mindset reflects a growing 2025 trend among older adults known as proactive legacy living, a practical, modern approach to staying in control while reducing stress for both yourself and your family. Evelyn's future file isn't just a stack of papers. It's a map of her life made simple. She included copies of her ID, her will, and her advance care directive, all stored alongside a list of online accounts and passwords, from her email to her online banking. She even added a notes for my family section, where she keeps handwritten letters, favorite quotes, and a few life lessons she wants to pass on. Experts are now encouraging seniors to create their own future files as part of mental wellness and preparedness routines. According to the 2025 National Aging Report, older adults who organize their essential information report 35% lower levels of anxiety about aging. Why? Because organization turns uncertainty into order. It transforms what if into "I've got this handled." Evelyn took it a step further. She digitized her file. Using secure cloud storage, she shared limited access with her niece, ensuring that in an emergency, someone she trusts could step in seamlessly. This hybrid system, physical and digital, is becoming the new standard for seniors who value both privacy and preparedness. This isn't about fear or control. It's about clarity. It's about making the future easier to navigate, for yourself and for those who might one day help you. Evelyn says, "The day I finished my future file, I slept better. Because I finally knew I'd made things simple, for me and for the people I love." Her story represents something deeper happening across the US, seniors reclaiming their independence not by resisting the future, but by preparing for it with intention and grace. Prepare once, and free your mind forever. Have you started your personal file yet? What's one thing you'd include? Let's build peace of mind together. Share your thoughts below. Evelyn still lives alone, but now every part of her life works by design, not by default. Her mornings start with purpose, her home supports her peace, and her routines keep her connected. She doesn't just live in her house, she leads it. Each small habit she built, from her 3-touch rule to her future file, became part of a bigger system that protects her freedom and strengthens her confidence. Her story is proof that solitude isn't something to survive, it's something to shape. Living alone, she learned that peace doesn't come from noise or company. It comes from clarity, structure, and self-trust. Evelyn no longer measures her days by how quiet they are, but by how meaningful they feel. Across the United States, Thousands of seniors like her are rewriting what it means to live alone in 2025. They're not retreating from life, they're reimagining it, one choice at a time. And Evelyn's journey reminds us that the best years don't end with loss or retirement. They begin with intention. Living alone isn't a sentence, it's an opportunity to create your best chapter yet. If this video inspired you, tap like and share it with someone who lives alone. Subscribe to Elderly Dose for more real stories where independence meets wisdom, and every senior learns to thrive, not just survive.